listeners, and welcome to episode 243 of the SuperSetYourLife.com podcast. This is your bi-weekly dose of entertainment, education, and inspiration to fuel your life inside and beyond the gym. And I am your host, Coach Colt. Today, I am going to give you a really quick recap of how the Lion Diet 2.0 went. Second time doing it, went for 60 days, and today is my first day back off of it. So if you are unfamiliar with what the Lion Diet is, it is red meat, water, and salt only. It's a subcategory of the carnivore diet. So no pork, no chicken, no eggs, no fish, no supplements of any kind. Leviticus 11 verses 1 through 8 is actually the definition of the Lion Diet too, if you'd like to read more on that. So I am going to cover that first. And then my venison meatball recipe. Definitely my favorite of all the meals that I ate throughout this journey. I've eaten these every single day for the last 2 weeks straight. And guess what's for dinner tonight? More of the same. So what foods and supplements I will be introducing and why. I'm going to be adding a couple extra things on top of that. And then our usual motivational pep talk for a big week and what's going on here at SuperSetYourLife.com. So audio listeners, if you would like to see a video slideshow of every single meal that I've eaten for the last 60 days, you can check out our YouTube channel called Skullbells TV for the video version of this podcast. It's going to be like a vlog. So I'm also going to put in some posing footage, workout footage, and more as it fits chronologically so that you can see the changes in my physique over the last 2 months and how life has been treating us as a lion. How life has been treating me as a lion. Actually, all three of us, because Danielle Fisher, WNBF Pro, she just completed the Lion Diet, and she went for, I think, almost 50 days. So just a little bit shorter than I did. You can check out session number 51 of our nutrition podcast called Carnivore Coaches Corner. That's where she and I unpacked everything about how her experience was. And then Coach Mike, he was on this same show a couple weeks ago, and he went for 30 days. And so between those two conversations, I was sharing a lot of what I was experiencing in the process. And so I really don't want to be repetitive. So I feel like these couple topics that I just mentioned would be the most helpful for this podcast. So if you do watch the video, you will notice something that you might find odd or unusual. I've been doing this for a while now. I've been doing this for a long time, actually. So I write down everything that I eat in my Bible. Why? Because I'm committed to growing spiritually as much as I am concerned about my muscles and my overall health, right? Because that's totally more important than muscles. So I am committed to growing indefinitely in both of these areas, and this keeps me accountable in both of these areas. Romans 12:21 says, "Do not be conquered by evil, but conquer evil with good." The Bible is nothing but positivity. There is Jesus Christ on every single page. There is something that you can learn on every single page. There is something that you can pray about, something that you can meditate on every single page. Romans 12:21, if you're looking for ideas. Do not be conquered by evil, but conquer evil with good. So the right mindset is essential to both aspects of your health, physical and spiritual. John 4:34 says, "My food is to do the will of him who sent me and finish his work." So this verse really reminds me that as important as food is, it needs to be kept in its proper perspective. And just how food is essential for physical life, walking with God is essential for spiritual life. I could go on all day with those. So for more about what the Bible has to say about what to eat and what not to eat, check out last Friday's podcast, which was episode 242 of this show. It's called Secondary Metabolite Evolution. Carnivore Josh and I unpacked everything we know about this topic. My biggest takeaway was just what the title says, actually, Genesis 3:18, because that's the first evidence that we have of secondary metabolite evolution, where plants first began growing thorns, actually, and the warfare between plants and humans began. So Josh and I talked all about this topic. Go tune into that one if you haven't already. Let me know what you think, please. I don't care if it's email. It's admin@supersetyourlife.com. If you want to shoot me an email, hit me up on Instagram, wherever. I want to know what you have to say about our opinions on that episode. All right, we went really, really deep, and I hope that we communicated everything well. I think we did. I think we did a good job with it. That's why I published it. Okay, so here's the story on the meatballs and why I decided to start making these and why it has become like my favorite meal to make every day, because I am a creature of habit. We're all creatures of habit, but I tend to be somebody that really thrives on routine to the point to where when I stop tracking and when I don't have rules around what I eat, I kind of get annoyed and like almost overwhelmed. And so, like today, I know exactly what I'm going to eat the rest of the day. I'm going to have a keto brick, and then I'm going to have some venison, maybe some duck eggs. I haven't done my macros yet, and then I'm probably gonna use like one or two pieces of bacon with it. And so, as far as reintroducing foods, there's not a whole lot going back in. But anyway, sticking to just this very, very small amount of ingredients, basically like 3 or 4 ingredients max every single day, that has it's been giving me benefits in terms of my digestion, overall health, overall energy. Here again, we've been talking about this on lots of podcasts in the past, and so I don't want to beat a dead horse on what the purpose of the lion diet is. But in terms of overall practicality, I think that's what I really nailed the most out of these last 60 days, was getting into a regimen, getting into a routine that I love, that I thrive off of, and that is dirt cheap. I've been spending less than $6 a day on average with all the food that I'm eating. So when people come to me and say, "Hey, look, I want to do the carnivore diet, but it's just not in my budget to afford all that meat," I'm like, "Man, the carnivore diet is what you do when you can't afford to eat to eat out a lot, and when you can't afford to get to make meals that have 10 plus ingredients, right? If you're really doing the lion diet properly, it should be very, very cheap and very, very affordable. Ground meats are the most affordable if you're going to do the lion diet, and because they're obviously a lot more cost effective than steak. However, the most of the meat that you see me eating isn't even actually meat that we bought from the store. The beef is, but everything that's venison is from a deer that I killed personally, right? So we're cutting corners everywhere that we can to save as much money as possible, and that's amazing how much money we have for other stuff now, like more important stuff. So anyway, there's lots and lots of reasons why I really just personally enjoy eating the same thing every day. I don't tell everybody to do this. I actually encourage most of our clients to have variety if they want it and if they're willing to go out of their way and do it. But I'm training 25 people right now, and most everybody that I'm training is actually eating the same thing every day, because I don't know why, but it seems like most people, when they go to the carnivore diet and when they stay on the carnivore diet for a while, you get into a routine, you get into a rhythm, you get really, really in tune with your body, and you just don't really want to throw it off. So that's why I'm never tempted by carbs. I'm never tempted by I'm never tempted by desserts. I'm not tempted by donuts when they have donuts like literally on the wall at church and stuff. It's like I'm just never tempted by it because I've been down that road so many times, and I know that my body feels like crap every time I eat that, right? So the last 60 days has been it's taken a lot of self-denial, which I believe is a really healthy practice. I believe that's a really healthy thing. And I was just telling somebody earlier today that asked why I'm a carnivore, and what the biggest benefit that I get out of just the carnivore diet in general. And I mean, I think it's really who you become through the process. The practice of self-denial and saying no to something that you know that your body doesn't need. It doesn't need carbs. Protein is essential. Amino acids are essential. Fats are essential. Carbs are not essential. Everybody knows that. But there's so many people that will try to make arguments for like, oh, well, if you're a high performing athlete, you'll do better with carbs. I disagree with that. I've never done a sport that I can't do just as good, if not better, on a ketogenic diet. Personally, can I speak for everybody? No, but I can speak for everybody that I'm training, and that's a lot of people, and that's a lot of anecdotal evidence. More on that. Listen to our nutrition podcast. Okay, so back to the meat. So for the meatballs, the reason that these became so practical is because I was already making burgers. Like I was making burger patties every single night. I love burger patties. Like seriously, never get sick of them. People are like, "Oh, the carnivore diet is so restrictive. Like how can you eat the same thing every day?" I'm like, because it's good and I really love it and I really don't miss anything else. And it it's the best food for my body overall. It has the least amount of it gives me the least amount of inflammation. It gives me the most amount of energy. It helps me sleep the best. It gives me the most consistent energy. It digests the easiest, right? This is all stuff that I've found and that I've learned after eating exclusively only red meat for so long. So any other type of meat, whenever I do reintroduce it, whenever I have, like in the past when I've done the lion diet and got off of it back again, like it doesn't matter what it is. I mean, turkey, chicken, pork, all those foods are good. That's great. Like if you're doing the carnivore diet, great, eat all those things. They're all really good for you. But between that and red meat, I just feel 10 times better on red meat. And so that's still going to be most of my food moving forward. But when I was making these burgers, I realized, okay, I'm making a meatball before before turning it into a burger, right? Like that's the first step of the process when you make a burger patty, right? You put all of your beef in a bowl, a really big bowl. You put all of your salt in it, and seasonings. If you use seasonings, I didn't for the last 60 days because I'm on the lion diet. Here again, that's another thing that I don't miss: seasonings. It is amazing how much natural flavor is in that meat when all you're using is salt. But your taste buds never get to that level. Like you could never tell the difference between a tallow that tastes more sweet than a different tallow if you're eating 15, 16, if you're eating 15, 20, 25, 30 plus ingredients by the end of the day because you're eating lots of processed foods. That does a lot to your brain. That does a lot to your taste buds. And so that's why people will say, if you listen to my interview with Danielle, our WNBF pro bodybuilder, if you listen to our interview that we just did with Mike, our competitive power lifter that just did the lion diet, we all talk about how our taste buds change over time. So that's why this food just keeps tasting better and better. And here again, like I don't miss anything else. Like for Taylor's birthday, you'll see that in the slideshow if you're watching the slideshow. She wanted a New York steak with a big fatty cap on it, and I was like, oh, baby, that's all I want too. I love you, babe. Yeah, let's go for your birthday. Let's do some steaks at home, and so we did. That's our splurge typically, is whenever we get the opportunity to go get some steaks, and she's always sales shopping and seeing what she can find too. And so she didn't have anything sweet. Did we do a birthday cake? No, we actually put a freaking candle on the cake and watched a movie together, and had a little bit of wine. She had some wine. I didn't have wine. I was a good boy. Don't worry. Wait, did she have wine? No, she made a mocktail actually. Yeah, we made a sugar-free mocktail because here again, John 4:34. My food is to do the will of him who sent me and to finish his work. There's a bigger picture than what you're eating, right? How does your food affect you? How does it affect your sleep? How does it affect who you are as a person, right? We only live once, and so anyway, why would we sacrifice what has been working so well for both of us on her birthday when a steak tastes 10 times better than a candy bar ever could, in my opinion. So anyway, in terms of making these meatballs, I would put them in balls, just with pink potassium cave salt. I was using pink potassium cave salt this entire time because if there's one nutrient that I thought I might be deficient in, I thought it might be potassium, just because there's less potassium in red meat than there is in pork. And so I don't know. I just figured it would be a good thing to make sure that I'm making sure that I'm getting extra of, especially because when most people transition to the carnivore diet for the first time anyway, potassium is usually one of the first things they're deficient in. So I always recommend Celtic sea salt, pink potassium cave salt, for that reason. Has almost as much potassium as it does sodium in it. And then the other salt that I was using the entire time was Baja Gold. What's it called? Just Baja Gold mineral salt, the natural grain. I like the natural grain because it has more of like a kosher texture. So between that and the Celtic salt, which has more of a fine, kind of like a Redmond real salt kind of texture to it, between the two, I have like basically a variety of flavors and a variety of textures right there. I've also done the research on this, and Baja Gold mineral salt does have the most magnesium that I can find, at least, of any other natural sea salt. Both of these products you can find on our website, supersetyourlife.com. Like I said, I've been taking these every single day for a long time, particularly the Celtic salt. I've been taking that for years, ever since my old bodybuilding coach got me onto it. So between those two, I wasn't worried about electrolyte supplementation whatsoever. All of my workouts were great. I wasn't well. No, I mean that's definitely not true, especially when I started. I started this journey a little bit sick actually, which is why I went for 60 days. I decided to go 60 days instead of 49 days because the last time I did it, I did 49 days and it was absolutely perfect. There was not one thing that entered my mouth except for red meat, water, salt. That's no coffee, no tea, nothing. This time, for the first 2 or 3 weeks, I didn't necessarily get an A plus. I was probably like 99.99%. I was doing like some cough drops and just because I was sick, and so that I actually went so far as to take antibiotics. I broke down. I was really mad at myself, but I did. I was just so desperate. It was pneumonia, and it hits me really really bad every single year, and so that turned into bronchitis. Yuck, that was no fun. So I feel like I didn't really get my money's worth out of the first 2 or 3 weeks for that reason, and so I decided to go for a couple extra weeks, and made it all the way to 60 days. So here we are. Anyway, back in terms of minimizing my meal prep time every day. That's something that I just love. I just love about this diet. It's like I don't have to think about food, like really ever, except for the meetings and podcasts that I'm recording and talking about all day, every day, and client check-ins where we're talking about nothing but food. But other than the 8 hours of talking about food, I really don't think about food after that. So I've been eating 1 or 2 meals a day, 1 meal a day on most days. And not forced. I was hungry. I don't know. Like I could probably count on one hand the amount of times that I was actually hungry this entire time. Weight stayed pretty much the same. Lifts have been going up a little bit. I've had some people tell me that that I look a little leaner, a little harder, and so that makes me feel good. I don't know if they're just saying it to make me feel good, but I think that they're right. Looking at how my physique was before this diet and after it. And so that's pretty much it in terms of how you make the meatballs. All right, I've been putting them in. So what I would do is wrap them up roll them up into balls, and then just put them on my tray for the air fryer. And I was finding that if it's just raw meat, just raw venison, about 5 minutes at 450 degrees was perfect. To get them crispy around the edges, I was doing this a little bit differently every time. And so if you're gonna try this, you're gonna have to experiment and just figure out what works best for you. But a tip that I found to make them a bit crispier was taking the and you see why this is saving so much time, because like if you're going to make burgers, which doesn't take very long in the first place, then you just stop halfway through the meal prep process and there you go, there's your meatballs. Like it's really not that hard, but they're absolutely delicious. So I used to think that you need like flour and eggs and like a whole bunch of other ingredients to make meatballs. No, like you seriously just need the meat. That's it. So to get them crispy around the edges, I would put tallow around the edge, either lamb tallow. Yeah, that was probably that was one of the biggest treats this entire last couple months. Actually, was lamb tallow. It was kind of pricey. It was $15 for that little jar, but I don't know. I felt like it was worth it. So sometimes I would use lamb tallow. Sometimes I would use tallow that like Taylor had rendered from her cooking earlier in the day. But anyway, I would coat the meatballs in the tallow and then put the Baja salt, because it has that grainy texture on it. I would put that around the edges. Wow, crispy, salty, absolutely bomb. All right, everybody, thanks a lot for joining us on this audio and or video, however you chose to consume this content, however you chose to consume this meat, that is. Here are a few announcements and just closing words before we wrap up. All right, so could not be more proud of the middle school Jayhawks at the track meet in Laurel on Thursday. I don't know who this quote is from, but it goes like this: "Don't run with your legs, run with your heart." I love that, because sometimes you have to dig deeper than you thought you could those last 10 to 20 meters, because it's not over until you cross the finish line. And I was reminding myself of that during this morning's workout, actually. It was push day because it's Monday, right? So obviously it's International Chest Day, International Shoulder Day. So I did shoulders, chest, and triceps. And for front deltoids, one of the exercises that I was doing was dumbbell standing front raises. And so I would go until I failed, and then I would use a little bit of hip momentum, and then push up those dumbbells to hit those front deltoids. I like this exercise because I feel like it's one of the ones that really separates the front deltoids from the pecs. I don't know. Arnold Schwarzenegger says that was the purpose of it, and I feel like that's what's happening. um, anyway, but I was thinking to myself when I was doing those, I was like, okay, don't pump with your front delts. Pump with your heart, because I just couldn't feel like I felt like my front delts couldn't go anymore on that. Okay. Taylor's doing great with 75 hard. Today's workout for her was a long hike and a family adventure to Wild Bill Lake. Athlete spotlight of the week is Aaron Pennell from Florida, US. He lost 4 pounds, so his start date was on March 15th of 2024. This has been accomplished on diet alone. He has not even been exercising. Why? Because a properly done carnivore diet should result in your body eventually gravitating toward your healthiest weight for your body for your body based on your height and your age, without the addition of exercise. Diet is really that crucial. Excellent example. Way to go, buddy. James 1:12 says, "Blessed is a man who endures trials, because when he passes the test, he will receive the crown of life." Podcast review from the supersetyourlife.com podcast, aka this show, is from Anna and Rion from Virginia, United States. We really appreciate the time that you spend on creating your content and engaging with your followers one-on-one, answering questions, and keeping people motivated. Subscribed and sharing. Keep it up, and God bless Miltons. Thank you so much for that. That was in response to episode 242, Second Metabolite Evolution with Joshua Van Bronckhorst. Rion, you are setting the pace and showing what top endurance athletes can really do with a properly done ketogenic diet. Congratulations on your 97-mile bike ride yesterday without any carbs whatsoever. What a stud. You and Anna are an incredible example to your community. Really glad that we're connected, as we'll continue to learn a lot from each other, I am sure. God bless you and your family, sir. Podcast review for Carnivore Coaches Corner, our nutrition show, from Vitalijus Sivakovas from Lithuania. Another great show. Keep doing it. I really enjoyed listening. That's in response to session number 51, the one that I was referring to earlier. 46-day Lion Diet recap with WNBF pro bodybuilder Danielle Fisher. Thanks a lot for that, Vitaly. Danielle is on the cutting edge, showing what natural bodybuilders can do with the carnivore diet. Glad that her words inspired you as much as they did me. And then our YouTube review for our channel, Skullbells TV, is from The Ancestral Kusina. Hope that I'm pronouncing that correctly. Says, "Great show. I would love to have this kind of nutrition support." And that's actually on our video of the podcast, 46-day Lion Diet recap with WNBF pro Danielle Fisher. Thanks again for the kind words, mate. Absolutely. I think that we all reach that point where knowledge only becomes wisdom if it's applied, and a supportive network is key in developing the right attitude for success. I was listening to Dr. Kiltz this morning, and he was saying that as a species, humans are actually tribal. So we thrive best in small groups, but not like gigantic crowds. So it makes me thankful for the network that we have here. Proverbs 15:22 says, "Plans fail where there is no counsel, but with many advisors they succeed." Our store review is from Danny L. from Missouri. I put Missouri on our newsletter. So if you're on our newsletter and you already read that, I apologize. But this is from Missouri, United States. Pink Celtic sea salt is our favorite because it's cheap potassium. It's a cheap potassium solution, and it's just natural sea salt, not even a capsule form. Tastes great. Celtic sea salt, pink potassium cave salt. Thanks so much for that. Couldn't agree more. Personally, I haven't gone a day without it since I got my first box. Dead serious, actually. Never really tried to make it this long or made a commitment or anything. I've just been having it every single day and just see no reason to stop. So great stuff, especially for athletes that are on carnivore. Thanks a lot for the order, Danny. All right, updates and announcements back in stock. Woo! Trans-allyl glutamine. tag. So yeah, this is the first supplement that I have reintroduced as of today, actually. This is a type of glutamine that does not go through your entire digestive tract in the same way that L-glutamine does. I do lots of intermittent fasting too after my workouts. And so I'll take, and here again, intermittent fasting isn't something that I try to do. It's not even something that I recommend, really. It's just when my body naturally feels like eating is 1 or 2 meals a day. And they're bigger meals, right? That's how lions do it. That's how lions eat. When in doubt, eat like a lion. We have similar digestive systems. We are apex predators. They are apex predators. Genesis 9:3 for more on that. But anyway, I like to take this particularly around my workout because I figure that that's when it has the last chance of breaking my fast, or at least as much of a fast as I am in at that point, as much of a fasted state as I'm in. I'm also adding in this product, which is also back in stock. Stem-free pump formula. I don't think this was ever out of stock, actually. This has a citrulline malate 2:1 ratio, so that's your main ingredient on these bad boys. No caffeine, but be careful with the dosage if you are sensitive to beta-alanine, because it does have some beta-alanine in it. I use 1/2 scoop every upper body workout, like this morning, but I don't feel like it's necessary on leg days. So it definitely helps me get those veins out on arm day, though. That's always fun. ISO powder, whey protein isolate. This is the protein that my coach Alfred put me on when I first hired a coach several years ago, and the only one that I've used ever since. Maximum protein and a couple trace carbs. Your body will absorb it better, though, if you have fat with it. So my advice is always to have heavy cream with it. Makes it taste so much better too. So we have peanut butter flavor, birthday cake, and chocolate cupcake flavors. All of those. Those are all favorites of ours, and all of those are in stock. We also have vitamin D3, cod liver oil, and butter and other vitamins and capsules. Also, we are fully stocked on steroids. Just kidding. That's our dad joke of the week. Like how I snuck it in there. So totally kidding about the steroids. All right, everybody. Hashtag stay natty. The scripture that we're going to close off with today is Romans 14 verses 1-3. And I don't even have anything to add on it, actually, because this one just speaks for itself, like all scripture does. But here we go. Romans 14 verses 1-3. Accept anyone who is weak in faith, but don't argue about doubtful issues. One person believes he may eat anything, but one who is weak eats only vegetables. One who eats must not look down on one who does not eat, and one who does not eat must not criticize someone who does, because God has accepted him. God bless everybody. Thanks a lot. We'll catch you later this week on episode 244 of the SupersetYourLife.com podcast.